With deep sadness and regret that I must inform you.
News tonight, a Malaysia Airlines flight with 239 people on board, including 12 Americans, has gone missing.
Indian Ocean.
Greetings, and welcome to Case Unveiled. I'm Alex, your host, and today we embark on an in-depth exploration of history's most baffling mysteries. The unexplained disappearance of Malaysia Airlines Flight MH370. It was the evening of March 8, 2014, and Malaysia Airlines Flight MH370, a Boeing 777, 200ER, was poised for departure from Kuala Lumpur International Airport. On board, there were 227 passengers and 12 crew members, representing a diverse tapestry of lives and dreams. As MH370's engines roared to life, it became just another flight ascending into the night sky. But within hours, it would be forever etched into history as the epicenter of one of aviation's most confounding mysteries. MH370, a Boeing 777-200ER, embarked on what was to be a routine flight from Kuala Lumpur to Beijing. Unbeknownst to all, it was to become one of the greatest enigmas in modern aviation, distinguished not just by its disappearance, but by its unique flight path in Malaysia Airlines history. At the heart of this story, Boeing 777-200ER, often affectionately referred to as the 777. This aircraft, a stalwart in the aviation world, had gained a reputation for its impeccable reliability and advanced engineering. For those familiar with aviation, the 777 was a symbol of modern air travel, capable of carrying hundreds of passengers across long distances with grace and precision. Its twin engines and state-of-the-art technology were a testament to the advancement of commercial aviation. In the early stages of the flight, communication between the cockpit and air traffic control was routine. There were no signs of trouble, and passengers and crew settled into the voyage, unaware of the extraordinary events that would soon unfold. However, as the flight continued over the South China Sea, something inexplicable occurred.
70, contact Lampur radar 1326 tonight. Alright, 1326 Malaysian 370. Number control Malaysian 370.
Malaysian 370, Lampur radar, good morning, climb flight level 250.
Morning, level 250, Malaysian 370.
Malaysian 370, climb flight level 350.
Climb level 350, Malaysian 370. Malaysian 370, maintaining level 350.
Malaysian 370.
Malaysian 370, maintaining level 350.
Malaysian 370. Malaysian 370, contact Ho Chi Minh 120.9. Good night.
Good night, Malaysian 370.
Radar screens began to depict an erratic path, with the aircraft deviating from its planned route. The flight's sudden vanishing from radar screens, just an hour after takeoff, left air traffic controllers in disarray. This abrupt disappearance marked the beginning of an unparalleled mystery in the skies. Within minutes, MH370 vanished from radar screens, leaving air traffic controllers in a state of bewilderment. Attempts to re-establish contact with the aircraft were met with silence, a void of communication that confounded those on the ground. As the hours passed, the realization that MH370 had disappeared from conventional tracking systems prompted an unprecedented international search and rescue operation.
In Beijing, family and friends of passengers on board lost Malaysian Air Flight MH370 reacted with shock and grief after Malaysia's Prime Minister announced on Monday that the plane went down in the southern Indian Ocean.
This is a remote location, far from any possible landing sites.
Malaysia Airlines told families of the passengers that it, quote, deeply regrets that we have to assume beyond any reasonable doubt that MH370 has been lost and that none of those on board survived. The search for the plane's wreckage continues. On Monday, an Australian military aircraft spotted 2 objects floating in the Indian Ocean, in the general vicinity of where the flight is believed to have gone down. Personnel on board the search plane dropped smoke markers to guide a nearby warship to the location to investigate further. The location of the debris sighting appears to be consistent with Chinese satellite images released on Saturday that show an object 22 meters long and 13 meters wide floating in the ocean. The passengers' relatives had been called to a hotel conference room to hear the Malaysian Prime Minister's announcement. Medical teams were called in to assist some family members who collapsed after hearing the news.
The disappearance of Malaysia Airlines Flight MH370 set in motion an extraordinary global endeavor, uniting nations and organizations in a quest unprecedented in aviation history. A coalition, led by countries like Malaysia, Australia, China, and the United States, marshaled a vast array of resources to tackle the daunting task of locating the missing aircraft. Their efforts spanned the enormous expanse of the Indian Ocean, with a particular focus on the elusive areas of the South China Sea and the Southern Indian Ocean. This multinational search operation, characterized by its urgency and determination, rapidly evolved into one of the most extensive and costly in the history of aviation. Teams of experts from various fields employed sophisticated radar, sonar, and satellite technology in their relentless pursuit. They combed through thousands of square kilometers of ocean, contending with the challenges posed by the lack of precise information about MH370's flight path after its abrupt disappearance from radar screens. The search teams aboard ships and aircraft tirelessly scoured the ocean's surface and delved into its depths, deploying advanced sonar-equipped vessels to navigate and map the largely uncharted ocean floor. Despite the scale and intensity of these efforts, the early stages of the search yielded few results, with debris found in the ocean often turning out to be unrelated to MH370. The enormity of the search area and the ocean's vast and mysterious nature only magnified the challenge, prolonging the agony of families and the world awaiting definitive answers. As the search operation extended into a multinational endeavor spanning thousands of square kilometers, it became one of the most extensive and costly in aviation history.
Recently, Malaysia and Australia announced a new search phase. The 2 nations will split the cost, estimated at more than $100 million.
We will not give up until we have found what's left of Flight MH370. We owe it to the families of the lost. We owe it to grieving countries.
This new phase is focused west of Perth, Australia, an area of seafloor covering nearly 60,000 square kilometers, a shift in a search where pain remains a constant.
I miss his daily presence. I still feel him in my heart, so that will never go away.
We're still sad, and we still want, them to come home. When you do not give us any proof, then for us there is no closure, and our hopes are still high that they will come back to us.
Theories surrounding MH370's fate are manifold, spanning technical malfunctions, pilot actions, and even external interference. Each theory adds a layer to the intricate puzzle, challenging experts and investigators alike. As the world anxiously awaited answers, a prevailing theory emerged that MH370 may have deviated from its course due to deliberate actions. This theory fueled speculation about potential motives and conspiracies. One theory posited the involvement of one or more individuals with advanced knowledge of aviation systems. It was suggested that someone on board may have intentionally altered the flight path, leading to the aircraft's disappearance. Another theory revolved around the possibility of government intervention. Some speculated that MH370 might have unintentionally entered restricted airspace, leading to interception by military aircraft. The circumstances surrounding such an interception remain shrouded in mystery. These theories led to questions about the role of government authorities and the extent to which information was disclosed. The lack of transparency in the early stages of the investigation fueled suspicions. Speculations also extended to the question of motive. What would be the reason for diverting a commercial airliner off its planned course? Could it be related to geopolitical tensions, covert operations, or other undisclosed agendas? It's important to note that while these theories captured the imaginations of many, they lacked concrete evidence to substantiate claims of government involvement or a deliberate act. Investigators faced the challenge of sifting through a sea of possibilities. The official investigations conducted by various authorities, including the Australian Transport Safety Bureau, the Malaysian government, and international teams, sought to explore all angles, including these intriguing theories. However, despite extensive efforts and significant resources dedicated to uncovering the truth, many questions remain unanswered.
Conspiracy theorists believe they know what happened, even where the missing plane is. One of the more outlandish ideas? Aliens stole Flight 370 and abducted everyone on board.
The notion that a particular tragedy or terrible thing that's happened is attributable to aliens, that seems preposterous.
Cass Sunstein wrote a book about why conspiracy theories persist. He says people are drawn to mystery and suspicion, especially when feelings of fear, anger, and grief are involved, as is the case with the Malaysian airliner. On social media, conspiracy theories about the missing plane are still going viral. This tweet pretty much covers it, from time travel to an invisible cloak for the airplane. Others wonder, was the plane hijacked to Afghanistan? Or did it land on the U.S. military base known as Diego Garcia?
For the families of those on board, the absence of concrete answers deepens their anguish. They stand united in their quest for truth, often leading efforts to reignite search operations and keep the memory of their loved ones alive. 9 years later, these families remain steadfast in their search for answers. In 2018, Malaysia engaged Ocean Infinity, a U.S. seabed exploration firm, to search the southern Indian Ocean. But the effort was unsuccessful despite a potential reward of up to $70 million. The group Voice 370, representing the relatives, continues to advocate for new searches. They believe that Ocean Infinity has made significant progress in understanding the events of 2014, thus improving the chances of a successful search. Malaysian Transport Minister Anthony Loke has assured the families that the search for MH370 is not closed, and future searches could be considered if new and credible information emerges about the aircraft's potential location. Further complicating the search, debris confirmed or believed to be from MH370 has been found along the African coast and islands in the Indian Ocean. However, Malaysian investigators have drawn no conclusions about what happened on the flight, leaving open the possibility that the aircraft was deliberately taken off course. The continual emergence of new theories and the absence of definitive answers prolong the agony for the families, who yearn for closure in one of aviation's greatest mysteries.
什么事情不能5年了没有个答案，没有个交代，这是我们所不理解的。所以说，为什么我们说这是一个政治问题，非常复杂的政治问题。
然后我真的一夜都没有睡好，5年了，这5年就是像噩梦一样的这样，一幕一幕的在脑子里过。
In the wake of MH370's disappearance, an exhaustive official investigation was initiated by aviation authorities to demystify the event. This investigation involved a multidisciplinary approach, engaging experts in aviation technology, meteorology, and oceanography, among others, to analyze every conceivable aspect of the flight's last known moments. The investigation team pored over satellite data, radar tracks, and ocean currents, attempting to reconstruct the flight's path and final location. This mammoth task resulted in a voluminous report, which offered detailed findings, but stopped short of providing a conclusive explanation for the aircraft's disappearance. Among the key findings was the assessment that the flight's deviation from its planned route was not due to a system malfunction, but rather indicated manual control. This revelation steered the investigation toward scrutinizing the actions of the flight crew and raised questions about potential unauthorized interference. However, no definitive evidence was found to firmly establish the intent or identify the responsible party. The report also addressed the role of air traffic control and emergency response protocols. It identified several areas where procedures were not followed or communication broke down, leading to delays in initiating the search and rescue operations. These insights prompted a series of recommendations aimed at tightening safety measures and improving crisis response in aviation. While the official investigation made significant strides in understanding the circumstances of MH370's disappearance, it ultimately left the core mystery unsolved, fueling ongoing speculation and theories. The absence of the wreckage and the flight data recorders means that many questions about MH370 remain unanswered, leaving a lingering void for the families of those on board and the aviation community at large.
There is no news whatsoever. It's just disappeared off the face of the earth. And if we could just find some wreckage or something, would be a help, probably.
In recent years, there have been significant new developments and discoveries in the ongoing investigation into the disappearance of Malaysia Airlines Flight MH370. These advancements have reinvigorated hope and interest among experts, aviation enthusiasts, and the global community, sparking fresh discussions and theories. One of the key developments has been the involvement of advanced technology in the search. This includes using sophisticated underwater drones and new data analysis techniques to scan the ocean floor in the search area. These technologies have allowed investigators to cover larger areas more efficiently and with greater accuracy than before. Additionally, there have been notable discoveries of debris believed to be from MH370. Pieces of wreckage have been found, washed up on shores thousands of miles from the suspected crash site, providing crucial clues to the plane's fate. Each piece of debris found has been meticulously analyzed to gather more information about the flight's last moments and potential crash dynamics.
You can draw your own conclusions as to whether that means someone's in control or not, but taken together with the analysis of those last two burst frequency offsets, which indicate a high and increasing rate of descent, it means that we're looking for an aircraft that's actually quite close to the 7th art.
Moreover, experts have continued to refine their understanding of the flight's path based on satellite data analysis, leading to new theories about its final hours and location. These analyses have helped narrow down the search area and improve the likelihood of discovering the plane. One particularly notable recent development is the emergence of a video purportedly showing the last moments of MH370. This footage, if authenticated, could provide unprecedented insights into the flight's final moments and potentially help solve the enduring mystery of its disappearance. These ongoing efforts and discoveries reflect a relentless pursuit of the truth and a commitment to solving one of the most perplexing mysteries in modern aviation history. The continued interest and dedication to uncovering the fate of MH370 bring a glimmer of hope to the families of those on board who have long awaited answers. As we bring our extensive exploration of the Malaysia Airlines Flight MH370 mystery to a close, we confront an undeniable fact. The enigma that surrounds this flight persists. This profound journey has taken us through the intricate web of theories, extensive official investigations, and the latest developments that have rekindled hope in solving this aviation puzzle. Despite the passage of years, the definitive answers remain elusive, leaving the families, experts, and the global community grappling with unanswered questions. Thank you for joining us on this exploration. If you found this journey enlightening or thought-provoking, please remember to like, subscribe, and share it with others. We eagerly await your thoughts, theories, and insights in the comment section below. Your perspective could be a vital piece in unlocking the enduring mystery of MH370.